What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Today we're diving deep into the mystical trenches with a breakdown of Midnight Suns issue number 2. When we last left off, a vision of a magical apocalypse had every sorcerer on Earth looking at a young Zoe Laveau like she was a walking time bomb. But while Agatha Harkness has gone rogue to protect her student, the rest of our unlikely team is left holding the line at Strange Academy. We're talking Wolverine, Blade, Magik, Nico Minoru, and the Spirit Rider, a lineup that should be able to handle anything, right? Well, anything just showed up at the front door in a suit of iron armor, and he isn't there to hand out passing grades. Get ready, because today we're breaking down a brutal clash of egos, the return of a dark 15th century secret, and a power move by the Sorcerer Supreme that changes the rules of the game. Let's get into it. Before we get to the fists and sorcery, the writers take us away, way back. We're talking 1428. Wundagore, Mountain, Transia. And if you know your Marvel lore, Wundagore is already a place dripping with mystical significance. It's where the Scarlet Witch's powers was shaped. The fact that this story begins there is not an accident. We're outside a stone keep, and there's a mob. Torches, pitchforks, the whole medieval burn the witch energy going absolutely full tilt. And inside, a coven of witches watching the torchlight flicker through the windows. Now here's where it gets interesting. These women are scared, all except two. One of them is a witch named Jaquette Laveau. And yeah, she's Zoe's ancestor, so keep that in mind. Jaquette is cold, calculating, and absolutely ready to do whatever it takes to survive. She wants to invoke the vapors of Voltor, a demonic power that readers of Doctor Strange know well. Every time Strange utters that incantation, he's tapping into a power that was brokered right here, in this very moment. But a witch named Corinna is begging them to stop. She's scared, not of the mob, but of what invoking that kind of power is actually going to cost them. And she's right to be scared. The other person watching all of this, a young Agatha Harkness, flint-eyed, sharp, taking it all in. And what she witnesses here is going to haunt her for the next 600 years. The ritual starts, but it's failing. And that's when Jaquette drops the bombshell. She left something out of the scrolls. The spell requires a sacrifice. Before anyone can react, a shadow manifests behind Corinna, a creature. It leans in and it rasps, "Is this my prize?" And then Corinna screams. The tone this issue sets in the first few pages is cold. This ain't your typical superhero opener. This is horror. This is tragedy. This is the moment that explains everything. Because that demon, that entity lurking in the shadows of 1428, we're gonna see its face again. And by the end of this issue, Agatha confirms what that creature is, and the implications are wild. Flash forward to now. Agatha has teleported Zoe out of Strange Academy and dropped them both off in the ruins of that same transient keep. Zoe's looking around at crumbling stone and dust. She's wrestling with everything. She's part zombie, a condition that, according to the vision, could trigger an apocalypse that ends all non-magical life on Earth. She's scared. She's overwhelmed. And most of all, she feels like a monster. "At least my friends at Strange Academy are safe as long as I'm gone," she murmurs. "I saw the danger I pose. I couldn't live with myself if I caused them any more suffering." And right here is where Agatha Harkness earns her reputation. Because she doesn't coddle Zoe. She doesn't do the soft mentoring speech. She hits her with, "That is quite enough whining, Miss Laveau." And then Agatha conjures up a tray of beignets. Fresh ones. Because apparently Agatha has been watching Zoe long enough to know her favorite food. And somewhere between ancient witch and terrifying mentor figure, she also learned how to do magical takeout. It's a great character beat because it does something really smart. It shows us that Agatha cares. She just expresses it in the most withering, imperious way possible. Like she's not gonna hug you, but she will make sure you're fed before she drops 6 centuries of trauma on you. And drop it she does. Agatha starts explaining Voltor, the demon lord whose power sorcerers have been drawing on for 100 generations. Every time Doctor Strange utters those words, vapors of Voltor, he's pulling from a well that Agatha's coven opened. And the price? Nobody ever told the sorcerers what the price actually was, because nobody wanted to know. But Agatha knows. She was there. I made a horrible mistake once. It destroyed someone I cared for. And if that vision is true, it may ultimately cost us everything. She reaches out her hand. Will you help me fix that mistake? Zoe's been scared this whole time. She's been running. And right here, a teenage girl covered in powdered sugar, sitting in a 600-year-old ruin at the center of a prophecy, she makes her choice. She wipes her face and grins. I'm in. That's your team, people. The cranky immortal witch and a terrified kid who just chose to stop running. Okay, now we get to the good stuff. While Agatha and Zoe are doing their thing across the Atlantic, back in New Orleans, Strange Academy is getting absolutely wrecked. And the man doing the wrecking? Victor Von Doom, the Latvian sorcerer king himself, golden energy blasting out of his gauntlets. And listen, I need you to understand the weight of this moment. This isn't just some villain showing up. This is Doom, one of the most powerful sorcerers and technologists in Marvel Universe. The man has literally worn the Infinity Gauntlet. He's gone toe-to-toe with Galactus. And the people standing against him? Wolverine, who immediately runs towards Doom and unsheathes his claws with that beautiful snikt. He's grinning, that feral grin. I already told you, Vic, she ain't here, but we're more than happy to keep you entertained. Kushala the Spirit Rider, looking at Doom with the ancient disdain. Should I be impressed? She says. Blade, already checking the edge of his silver stake, offering the most Blade response possible. Careful, Kushala. He's almost as formidable as he thinks he is. And the moment the fight actually starts, it becomes very clear, very fast, that Doom is on another level. Wolverine lunges, a full adamantium blur, and gets bounced off a force field like he hit a glass door. Doom doesn't even look up. Bah, your feral attack is beneath me, Wolverine. Kushala unleashes demonic hellfire, and Doom just takes it, bends it, turns her own fire back on her. That's not just strength, that's surgical magical counter technique, and it tells you everything about where Doom sits on the power scale. Kushala's reeling from her own attack, while Doom stands there like he's mildly inconvenienced. Meanwhile, down the hall, Zalma is trying to evacuate students. She's yelling at kids to get to the library. And then there's Nico Minoru. She just sent the Staff of One into space. Now if you don't know, Nico sent the Staff of One into space to distance herself from its increasingly dark, corrupting influence, and the blood magic legacy of her parents. She feared the weapon made her a liability in the face of an apocalyptic prophecy, and wanted to prevent it from being used by herself or others. Ultimately, it was a desperate attempt to force herself to evolve beyond the staff, and find a way to use her power without a cursed crutch. So without her staff, she's got no powers, or at least a fraction of her power. She's standing there watching Doom dismantle her teammates and going, I just had to send the Staff of One into space, didn't I? Great at parties, useless against supervillains. Magic charges in with her soul sword blazing, and Doom clocks that her powers seem off. Limbo's energy is diminished. He's analyzing her even mid-fight. She fires back. And what will your eyes tell you about my giant pointy sword when I gouge them out of their sockets? But even that's not enough. Blade finds an opening and goes for it, and Doom just straight up one-shots him. Doom says, you should stick to fighting vampires. Now here's the clutch moment of the whole fight, and honestly one of my favorite sequences in the issue. With Blade down and the team getting cooked, Nico Minoru steps up. No staff, no powers, just a big, jagged weapon called the Axe of Angaromus, a gift from the late Doctor Strange. She walks up to Doom and goes, real casual, "Hey, Mr. Von Doom, got a second?" She explains what the axe is. She explains it can cut through anything. She's stalling, and Doom knows she's stalling, but he's curious, or maybe just contemptuous enough to let her play it out. "Nico Minoru," he says, "you're almost as annoying as your parents were. Without your family staff, you are insignificant. Toss that axe away before you hurt yourself." And Nico just goes, "Okay," and she throws it, and she misses. Doom says, "You missed." Now here's where it gets good, because from the shadows, Blade, who we thought was out, is already in the air. He catches the axe mid-air, and brings it down on Doom with everything he's got. The whole thing was a setup. Nico missed on purpose because she knew Blade was still in it. It staggers Doom, but it doesn't stop him. He opens portals, floods the academy with fresh Doombots, and goes, "I am done playing nice. Enough. Tell me where you are hiding Zoe Laveau, or die." The Midnight Suns are basically on fumes. Wolverine's pinned by a Doombot. Magik and Nico are getting attacked by Doombots too. The whole team is cooked. Doom is stalking toward the Spirit Rider, ready to end this. And then, the air detonates. A beam of pure arcane energy slams into Doom's chest and sends him through a stone wall and into the courtyard. The dust clears. Floating in the breach, cloak of levitation billowing like a living flame, is Clea, the Sorcerer Supreme, Warlord of the Dark Dimension, Stephen Strange's wife, except she doesn't need that qualifier anymore because she took the mantle of Earth's Sorcerer Supreme by right of power. This isn't diplomatic Clea. This is war-hardened Clea, and she is not here for any of this. She stares Doom down, and the line she delivers is absolutely cold. "Hello, Victor. We talked about this. I am the Sorcerer Supreme. You are not. Finding Zoe Laveau is my responsibility. Yours, as far as I can tell, is to slink back to your castle and wait for your next defeat at the hands of the Fantastic Four. That's not just a burn, that's a whole arson case." Doom crackles with a blue fist of magic. He's furious, but the Midnight Suns are back on their feet, rallied behind Clea, and even he can do the math. The Sorcerer Supreme who doesn't believe in mercy, plus Magik, Blade, Wolverine, Nico, and Spirit Rider. He dips. He literally starts vanishing into the ether, and as he goes, he throws out, "Your ignorance of the coming danger imperils us all." Logan watches the space where he was standing and goes, "What a charmer." Okay, so the team just saved the school. They fought Doom, survived his Doombots, pulled off an insane combo play. They did everything right, and Clea, the Sorcerer Supreme, turns to them and goes, "As for the 5 of you, I appreciate your eagerness to help, but you are already causing far too much collateral damage." Dr. Voodoo tries to vouch for them. "Clea, take it easy. They did just save the school, and the Earth thanks them for their service, but I will take it from here," she says. Magik is not having it, and she makes a valid point. They were in the vision, all 5 of them. That's not a coincidence. You can't just remove them from the board and expect a different outcome. Clea actually pauses. She actually listens. She goes, "You bring up a valid observation." And Dr. Voodoo, who's been around long enough to know what's coming, immediately goes, "In the name of all that's holy, Clea, what are you doing?" Because she's already weaving the spell, a complex, shimmering web of golden energy. Magik yells, "Wait, you don't have to do this," but it's too late. Flash of light, the academy disappears, and the Midnight Suns find themselves deposited in some completely alien landscape. Magik tries to open a stepping disc back, but can't. She's locked out. Her powers don't work here. Spirit Rider is the first to find her footing, and she drops maybe the most grounded take of the whole issue. She believes she had to to remove us from the board, on the off chance that changing the players changes the prophecy. To be honest, I probably would have done the same. And that's the thing, Clea's not wrong. She's not a villain. She's the most powerful magical authority on Earth. She's looking at a prophecy that ends with billions of people dead, and she's trying to control every variable she can. Is she right? Don't know, but she's not wrong to try. The Midnight Suns are stranded somewhere that defies physics. Magic's portal powers are offline, and Blade stares at the alien horizon and mutters, "Nico, I've got a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore." And that's where the issue number 2 ends. Okay, let's talk about what this issue is actually doing. On the surface, it's a superhero team up versus Doctor Doom. But underneath that, this is a book about cycles, about the cost of power, about decisions made in fear that echo for centuries. Agatha made a call in 1428. Her coven opened a door to Veltor, and that ripple is still moving. Now Zoe is the epicenter of it. The apocalypse brewing in the present has its roots in a desperate choice made by women trying to survive a mob in medieval Transia. And the really sharp move the writers make, both Agatha and Clea in this very issue make decisions that prioritize the greater good at someone else's expense. Agatha watched Corinna get sacrificed. Clea just exiled the Midnight Suns. Neither of them is a monster. They're both doing what they think they have to do. That moral gray zone is where this book lives, and I'm here for every page of it. Zoe choosing to fight back despite everything, that's the emotional spine of this whole series. A kid who's being told she might end the world, deciding to face it anyway. And Doom showing up demanding she be handed over, he actually might have a point. His methods are out of pocket, but his concern isn't wrong. That's what makes him such a compelling antagonist. He's not wrong, he's just absolutely insufferable about it. Where are the Midnight Suns stranded? What's that dimension? And how does Zoe fit into stopping Veltor when she might also be the key to summoning him? That's where we're going, and I cannot wait. If you enjoyed this breakdown, smash that like button, drop a comment, let me know what you thought of Clea's move. Was it justified? Subscribe so you don't miss issue number 3 when I break it down. Thanks for watching, everyone. Peace.